Most people know the dramatic moment on Mount Moriah, the knife raised, the voice from heaven, the sacrifice stopped at the very last second. But almost no one talks about what happened next. Because the real mystery isn't the test itself, it's what it did to Isaac. How does someone walk away from an experience like that and still trust the man who led him up the mountain? How does he continue believing in a God who asks for something that extreme? Isaac didn't just survive Moriah, he carried its weight for the rest of his life. And the parts of his story that come after the mountain are far stranger, far quieter, and far more revealing than the version most people grew up hearing. This is the part of Isaac's life that rarely gets told, and the hidden faith that shaped everything that came after. When the voice from heaven stopped Abraham's hand, the tension didn't just disappear. Isaac stood there, breathing hard, watching his father untie him, the fire still crackling beside them. Scripture goes almost silent about his reaction, and that silence is what makes the moment so unsettling. In a world where young men were raised to prove loyalty through extreme tests, Isaac doesn't run, doesn't argue, doesn't even question. He walks back down the mountain with the same man who nearly lost him. And that choice tells us more about Isaac than most people realize. Some ancient traditions even say Isaac wasn't terrified at all. He understood the test and accepted it. Whether that's true or not, one thing is clear: the climb down Moriah wasn't just the physical descent. It was the beginning of a lifelong journey shaped by trust, silence, and a kind of faith most people never experience. And that quiet strength only gets more mysterious from here, because Isaac doesn't go home immediately. And that's where the story starts to take a strange turn. For Isaac, the test wasn't only about survival. It reshaped how he understood God. Some ancient writings suggest he believed the moment on Moriah wasn't about losing his life, but about proving his trust. The ram appearing at the exact second it was needed wasn't just a relief. To Isaac, it was a clear message that God sees deeper than fear, deeper than confusion, deeper than the test itself. And even though he never speaks about the event directly, every choice he makes afterward hints at someone who felt guided, not abandoned. Isaac didn't view God as unpredictable or harsh. If anything, he walked away convinced that his life had a purpose he didn't fully understand yet. That's why, instead of questioning what happened, Isaac leaned into it. His faith stayed steady, quiet, and almost unexplainably strong. But that calm exterior created a new mystery, because after Moriah, Isaac suddenly disappears from the story for a long stretch. And people have been debating why ever since after Mount Moriah, Isaac almost vanishes from the narrative. For years, the text barely mentions him, and that silence has fueled endless speculation. Some say he separated from Abraham, needing space to process what had happened. Others suggest he stayed near the mountain, spending time in quiet reflection or prayer. Mystical interpretations even hint at a near-death experience that changed him forever. Whatever the truth, those years transformed Isaac. He returned as someone more introspective, calmer, almost otherworldly in his patience and faith. People often overlook this period, but it's crucial. The boy who faced the knife became a man who understood life and trust on an entirely different level, and that transformation becomes clear when he meets the woman who will shape the next chapter of his life. Rebecca. Isaac's marriage to Rebecca wasn't ordinary. Abraham sent a servant to find her, keeping Isaac distant from the process. Yet when he finally meets her, he's alone in the field, meditating, almost as if waiting for a sign. Some interpretations suggest that his time on Moriah made him contemplative, deeply attuned to moments of divine guidance. When Rebecca arrives, it isn't just a meeting, it's a turning point. Her presence seems to ground him, offering a sense of connection after years of inner struggle. Isaac doesn't rush, doesn't demand, doesn't even speak much at first. Instead, he lets the encounter unfold naturally, guided by a quiet faith that had been forged on the mountain top, and this calm, deliberate way of living sets the stage for his life as a Fathra life full of tension, lessons and choices that would echo the faith he carried from past. After Mount Moriah, Isaac lived a life marked by faith, patience, and steady leadership. As a father, he guided his household with care and intention, showing the same trust in God that had carried him through the mountain. He favored Esau, the elder son, and respected his role in the family, while also ensuring that the blessings and responsibilities of the household were passed down thoughtfully. Isaac's faith remained central in every decision. When he later blessed his sons, he acted with discernment and a deep understanding that God's guidance shaped the outcomes. His life was not marked by fear or hesitation, but by a quiet confidence that God's promises were trustworthy. The success of his faith was evident in the stability and continuity of his household, and in the way he fulfilled the promises God had made to Abraham. And this steady, faithful life would lead to the next chapter of Isaac's story, one that would demonstrate the lasting power of trust and divine guidance in even the most ordinary moments. In the later years of his life, Isaac's faith became a defining feature. Even as he grew older and eventually became blind, he continued to rely on God's guidance in every decision. When he blessed his sons, it wasn't just an act of tradition, it was a reflection of a life built on trust, obedience, and the lessons of Mount Moriah. Isaac's life shows that faith can be quiet but powerful. He didn't seek recognition or glory, he lived faithfully, fulfilling the promises made to Abraham and carrying forward the covenant with God. The events of his youth had prepared him to lead with patience, discernment, and confidence in God's plan. By the end of his life, Isaac had become more than a patriarch. He had become a symbol of unwavering trust. His success wasn't measured in wealth or conquest, but in the strength of his faith, the stability of his household, and the enduring legacy of obedience and trust in God. And that legacy would shape generations to come, proving that true strength often comes not from power, but from steadfast faith. Isaac's story after Mount Moriah is often overlooked, but it holds a profound lesson about faith and trust. He survived the ultimate test, not only physically, but spiritually, and his life afterward became a testament to the success of unwavering faith. Every choice he made, as a husband, father, and patriarch, reflected the quiet strength he gained from that pivotal moment. Rather than seeking power or fame, Isaac built a life defined by patience, guidance, and trust in God's plan. His calm, steady faith ensured the continuation of the covenant with Abraham and laid the foundation for generations to come. The story of Isaac after the mountain reminds us that true strength isn't always visible. Sometimes it is quiet, enduring, and measured not by dramatic events, but by the lasting impact of faith lived faithfully every day. It's a reminder that trust, when held steadfast, can shape not just one life but the future of an entire people.